Hello and welcome to a first preview of the next Avastar release 1.6. This release will add a couple of features for creating fitted mesh attachments. I have taken the simple tank top from the fitted mesh video series as my working model. So, the first big change is, you can set the rig style to fitted mesh right from the beginning of your project. Then you will bind your attachments as usual. In this case I create automatic weights from bones as my initial weighting. Then enable the second life appearance sliders. Now we are done with the binding part. A quick inspection shows that we now have weight maps only for the classic bones. We will change this now. In the rigging panel, select the preset for skinning. Then set the display mode to solid. Let's inspect the initial weights on our model. We see we have only classic bone weights, while all fitted mesh bones are still not weighted at all. Okay, we can close the rigging panel now, as we do no longer need it. Now open the fitting panel. The fitting panel contains two groups of sliders. The group at the bottom is the list of classic and fitted mesh bone pairs. Here you can find up to 19 entries, and each of these entries is related to two bones, a basic SL bone, and a corresponding collision volume bone. So for each entry in this list we will find either one or two corresponding weight maps in the vertex groups list of our object. And since we have not yet created any fitted mesh weights, we only see the weight maps of the classic bones at the moment. We get back to this slider group in a minute. The other group of sliders is related to the physics bones. These are a set of 7 collision volume bones which have no corresponding classic second life bone. But these bones are animated by the Avastar physics. And the strength of the physics behavior is controlled by weight maps as well. So we have added a generator for creating the physics weights. The strength sliders are actually split into two parts. The part from the middle to the left side controls how much the mesh is affected by the Avastar physics. And the part from the middle to the right side suppresses small weight values in favor of the higher values. Please note, by default we have disabled the physics for the handles. But we also can disable the other physics bones if we want. Now, watching how the sliders affect the weights on the attachment is nice. But we actually want to see how the mesh changes with different slider values. For this purpose we have added an automation button at the bottom of the fitting section. Now any change of the sliders will be instantly propagated to the mesh. Thus you can see how the sliders settings affect the shape. However, nothing happens. Why that? This is so, because the collision volume bones actually have no influence at all when the character is in its default shape. Hence, we have to get out of the default avatar shape, and change the appearance slider values. We can do this in the Avastar appearance slider section. Let's open the section for the torso. And then move the breast slider up to 100. Now we can step back to the physics volume sliders and inspect how the mesh deforms when we move the physics strength sliders. Note that this operation consumes a lot of resources and is rather slow. And also note, the physics strength sliders are just another weighting tool. So, these sliders are only used to set up and tweak the weights for your attachments. And they have nothing at all to do with the Avastar appearance sliders. Actually you even can later tweak the weight maps as usual with any of the other available weight tools. Now let's step back to the bone pair sliders. I will now take care of the belly. Right now there is only one weight map for the torso bone. And the corresponding collision volume is not weighted. Because of this we will see the mesh is not affected when we move the Avastar appearance slider for the belly size. So, let's step into the bone pair sliders. When you move the slider, then Avastar gradually moves weight from the classic second life torso bone to its corresponding collision volume bone, the belly. Thus the collision volume bone takes over the control. For the belly we see that even pushing the slider to full strength is not enough. This is due to the pelvis bone pair. So, let's move the pelvis slider as well. Now we have an issue. The attachment shape is still not exactly matching to the avatar shape. And here is one method to get this fixed. Just open up the mesh editor and tweak the vertices until the mesh fits nicely to your current shape. And when you are satisfied with the tweaks, then open the skinning panel and apply the sliders. And then enable the SL appearance sliders again. Now your tweaks have been permanently baked into your mesh. When you now move the sliders back to the default shape, then you see the mesh has changed a bit. But your benefit is, the mesh now behaves much nicer regarding the appearance sliders. Of course, this is not a perfect method, and there is still a lot to do before you get a perfectly fitted mesh. But the parametric fitting tool should give you a much better starting point for your detail work compared to what we had up until now. Thank you for watching.